Hello, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I'm back because a lot of things are going on, and I just don't know what to do with it. Because to be honest, it's like, it's just like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I mean, that's all that's going on. What we've been seeing for the past decades, and then the past 2 years. And I'm extremely, especially peed off at the U.S. ambassador who once again blatantly shows their shamelessness by approaching Bilawal Bhutto and having a closed door secret meeting, and then going and having a meeting with Nawaz and his people, basically, again trying to formulate the government that the Americans had envisioned for Pakistan. PDM. PDM was America's vision for Pakistan, which we have seen what they did to us for these 2 years. And now they want PDM Part 2. Keeping that in mind, the people are obviously not asleep. The people are aware of this, and it has angered the people even more. The fact that the American government is still not backing off. The fact that the American government is still pushing ahead, just like how it's pushing ahead with Israel's genocide in Palestine. For this, it's the same way that they and the British have been pushing forward with basically creating a world war. And as I said, they need Pakistan soil. They need Pakistan soil to have a grip in Asia. Pakistan is Asia's padlock. So they will obviously not. They will pretend to listen to the people. They will pretend to succumb to the pressure of the Pakistani Americans and their own senators. But at the same time, they right within, they will continue with whatever it is they've started. And that is the total destruction of Pakistan's sovereignty. And keeping that again in mind, there have been protests all day through yesterday, by the Jamaat Islami, by Tehreek-e-Labbaik, nationwide protests. Then, as we know, the PTI candidates that are fighting to safeguard their votes and their seats. They are, doing a sit-in protest in front of the RO's office. Then we have, the public itself that has now come out, and the public are just coming out more and more in numbers, because you see, as we know in Gujarat, um, we know what happened. I think I've mentioned it, or maybe I haven't, but for those who didn't listen, let me just do a sort of a recap. In Gujarat, the female candidates that won, the PTI PTI affiliated independent candidates, the female candidates that won, they were attacked by PMLN thugs who opened fire, and PTI workers got injured in Shangla as well. As remember, Shangla is the same place where PMLN's members were already caught red-handed before the elections even, with forged ballot papers, and they were arrested. So in Shangla, when people came out in protest against, their rigging and attempted rigging, then they opened fire against the people. They killed four. In various cities throughout Punjab, people were injured and killed. Even a small kid was injured. This just made the people see red, in short. And now, remember how I mentioned that, Bilawal is part of PDM, and Bilawal is just pretending to be with the people just because, he wants to keep his options open. He wants to keep his legs everywhere. So, but the people obviously can see through that. And now, once again, after this meeting, this this interference by the U.S. government, after this meeting with the U.S. ambassador, once again you can see Bilawal Bhutto and Zardari having meetings with Shehbaz Sharif, Nawaz Sharif, and both the parties are once again joining hands to again form PDM Part 2. Okay. Um, they may think that, that they have Wasim Kader, from Lahore, who again, he is a PTI affiliated independent candidate, and the only reason he won in his constituency is because he, um, he gave a public oath. Okay, so he took an oath, And this was in public, it was recorded. People still have, the video. The PTI people also have the video of it. So in that oath, he had mentioned his loyalty to Imran Khan and PTI, and he repeated all of that in front of the public when he asked for their votes. So people voted for, again, remember, nobody cares about the people, the candidates. The candidates themselves are well aware of this fact, that they themselves no they have no importance, no name, no reputation, nothing to their name. Okay, they have nothing to their name. The only thing that they have is Imran Khan, and that is the only reason they're getting votes. And the fact that he stole these votes and went, and he claims that he's returning back to PMLN, that in itself has caused an uproar. People have gone out. They are standing in front of his home, in protest, and they're even on social media. They're brutally reminding him that we don't know you and we don't give a frack who you are. Our votes are not for you. Our votes are for Imran Khan, and you have no right to sell our votes to anybody else. As I remember, these are the concerns that I placed in the beginning, that knowing how Pakistanis are, knowing how our people are in general, knowing the level of corruption that there is in our country, who would guarantee that even if you have taken an oath, that you would not still, backtrack, that you will not still renege from your own words? Number one. Number two, because they have already shredded your constitution to pieces, they've already illegally made reforms, and those reforms in themselves are illegal. And then they have already, shredded your legal framework to bits. Um, you know, who is there to give you justice? Yes, it is on trial. I mean, because the fact that the PTI, the Peshawar High Court, had refuted the ECP's decision to take away the bat symbol from PTI and said that no, it stands and PTI stands. The fact that even this verdict was overturned by the Supreme Court, which, as we all know, is compromised. The Supreme Court is directly under the army. It is taking dictation, and is Faiz Isa is, as we know, Nawaz Sharif's mentee. So he made sure that the bat is taken away, but still, you see, PTI is still a registered party. The registration is still there. So PTI is still registered as a political party, and every candidate, every independent candidate, when they submitted their papers, when they submitted their candidacy papers, when you submit your papers, you mention your affiliation if you have an affiliation with another party. They have mentioned, so again, it's on the record that they are affiliated with PTI. So a person who is on the record affiliated with PTI, even though he won the elections as an independent candidate, and all sorts of laws now, he's broken all sorts of laws that can be used against him now. First of all, there is obviously the very basic law of good faith. Then there is the Constitution on defection, the defection clause. And then there is the contract law, again, which one way or the other, again, pertains to good faith. And then there is the statutory law. So, he has basically broken the very fundaments of good faith, and he has broken, Party A, Party B signatories, because when you are even asking people to vote for you, and you're very clearly telling them who you stand with and who you stand for, and then you get those votes, then that is a contract. That in itself is a contract, okay? And that is where good faith applies. And then you have the statutory law as well, obviously. Then you have the moral law. And then, again, as I said, you are registered as an affiliated member of PTI. So you cannot suddenly announce after you've won the elections that now you're returning to PMLN. And that, again, my second concern that I had voiced, that no turncoats should be allowed to contest the elections. I don't know who made this mistake and why they repeated this mistake. You should have learned from your lessons. The very people that you allowed to join you from PMLN are the reasons why you are where you are today. They're the reason your government was collapsed. They're the reason you got backstabbed. They are the backstabbers. Why would you again allow anyone from PMLN to stay with you? Even now they should remove anybody and everybody that were once with PMLN, because they're a danger to you. They're a complete danger to you. They will never, you cannot trust them. Although there are some rumors that actually Wasim Kader was also kidnapped, and he was beaten up and tortured and forced to make the statement. But the point is, it's his loss in any case. It's his loss. First of all, technically speaking, he will have to now, because of the defection clause, which applies to him, by the way, he would now have to be disqualified. If he's disqualified, then this election of his constituency will have to take place again, right? So, but again, as I said, your very law is compromised at this point. So who is going to take charge of that? Although Barrister Gore has announced that he will take action, and he will take legal action as well, based on all of that. But let's see, because right now, um, we have also had, according to Dr. Shabazz Gill, in his blog, he has mentioned that four four PTI MNA candidates that won the elections have been kidnapped, and that they're being forced, they're being tortured, they're being forced to pledge allegiance to PMLN, to Nawaz Sharif. So that is a very alarming situation as well, which I agree with Imran Khan. And because this is something that we've all been saying from day one, right from the time when the results were being tampered with, we have been saying that PTI needs to do a press conference in which they need to officially mention every single thing. Yes, they did a press conference and all, but at this point, they need to issue a white paper, basically. They need to give every single detail. They need to put everything on the record, both in front of the local as well as the international press. Okay, so they need to do that, in which they need to mention every single facts and figures of all the seats that they've won and by how many votes, and as a party, basically as a party, they have to now, because yes, the candidates are on their own individually with their people and their supporters, they are fighting their case. But again, since Barrister Gohar has also mentioned this, that at the end of the day, they're all part of PTI, right? So yes, PTI needs to make a white paper. They need to issue all these facts and figures in front of the world. They need to mention also what is going on right now, as in the names of the members that are kidnapped and what is going on, and everything. They need to mention this so that the world should know, and it should be on the record. So right now, we have seen a huge protest all over Pakistan. We've seen in Pindi, we've seen in Lahore, we've seen in Karachi. And although actually the PTI, first, actually the PTI members were asked to announce a protest, then they were told they were basically recalled. So they were told to no longer actually go for for it, because they had found out that there were plans to once again do the 9 May charade, the false flag operation once again, so they were like, let's not do it. But still people came out, because remember, these are independent candidates as well that are already fighting their case. They have supporters, they have their voters, everybody's out. So they still came out, but they were careful enough not to allow themselves to get trapped again. So they actually saved themselves. Yes, very well done. The police couldn't do anything, although there was a lot of shelling. The police, they shelled the people, the protesters that were in front of the RO's office, and but the people didn't, leave. They stood their ground. And then, we had a huge wave of protests in Mansehra and Faisalabad, Hyderabad, you know, Karachi, Lahore, various parts of Punjab, various parts of, Pakistan. You name it, they're having a protest. KPK, because already has a stronghold, PTI has already won there, and it's very difficult for the establishment to penetrate KPK at the moment. So, There's that. But Balochistan, as we know, is facing its share of troubles thanks to the establishment, thanks to the army. And in fact, I really do think that the USA really, I've said this before and I'm saying it again, the USA really needs to be sanctioned, okay, for constantly interfering in other countries' sovereignty, for the fact that they're undermining another country's sovereignty. The USA, the UK, they need to be slammed, they need to be sanctioned, they need to be charged in the court of law, okay? They need to be made an example of, to be very honest. So Wasim Kader, no matter what his problem is, at the end of the day, he has committed political suicide. Because remember, no matter how much, like how they forced the PDM on us, and it didn't even last 2 years. Imagine what's going to happen this time. Because you see, even the senior members of the PMLN party, they are refusing to, steal the winning seat, basically. So they're like, listen, we've lost. We admit that we have lost. PTI's members have won. Please do not give their votes to us. Do not steal the public's mandate. We don't want it. And in fact, they're also advising Nawaz Sharif that he shouldn't be too greedy and he should either leave, or if he still wants to be a part of the government, then he should accept his status as an opposition, and he should not try to force, himself on the public. But Nawaz Sharif and the army, they're in it together, and the U.S. ambassador has now come into the mix again, and so the regime change operation that the USA had started, after all, they have to see the fruition of it. So right now, I think the U.S. ambassador needs to be called out, and I think first of all, the first thing, if we actually do manage to prevail, which to be honest is a bit difficult, but if we do manage to prevail, I think the first thing that the PTI government needs to do is to sack the U.S. embassy. Okay, we need to shut them down and send them home. I think that's the only way we can actually show them how serious we are. And we need to call for an explanation and we need to take them to the international court for meddling with our sovereignty and for trying to kill our elected prime minister, by the way. So the USA should also be charged for murder and assassination. Um, because this cannot go on, seriously. What they're doing in Palestine, what they're doing in occupied Kashmir with India, and what they're doing in Pakistan, what they've done in Syria, what they've done in Egypt, what they've done in Iraq, this cannot go on. Okay, what they attempted in Iran so many times just cannot go on. So yeah, there are rumors again that meetings have been held with Imran Khan. That there's a senior delegation this is according to Mariana Babar. She had tweeted about this. Somebody else refuted her tweet saying that it's fake news. And but this time actually it's not fake news. It seems this time it seems that yes, a senior delegation was sent to meet Imran Khan, because you see the fears that everybody is saying about how the blatant interference with Pakistan's politics, and then the blatant treason committed by the PDM and by the army, by the establishment, that the way it's going to bite them in the ass, because they have literally effed their futures, all of them. This, as I have said before, even as far as Nawaz Sharif, Bilawal, and all are concerned, they don't care. They're here to wrap up. Okay, they're here to get the last, remains of the loot, wrap up, and then leave forever. So they don't really care if they're here for a few months or a year or 2 years. They really don't care. Okay, they're just doing their master's bidding. You need to understand that. But where the army and the establishment is concerned, yeah, they're effed. They're totally effed. And they've realized how effed they are. And they've been constantly trying to make deals with Imran Khan, and Imran Khan has constantly refused their deals because their deals are totally, totally not in the favor of Pakistan. Forget about Imran Khan. So Imran Khan refused to leave. Imran Khan refused to do a deal. Imran Khan has refused to form a coalition government. So yeah, because that's the latest, that they're trying that he should, somehow, as I told you, they will want a hodgepodge where to pretend that, look, we didn't really tamper with the results. Look, PTI still has a large number of seats here, but it's not large enough for them to form a government, blah, blah, blah. So, so there he has totally, totally rejected that. And also instead he, through Barrister Gore, he has sent the message, um, you know, that in the form of that press conference, the second press conference that Barrister Gore did. So that was basically Imran Khan's answers to them, mainly being that all PTI prisoners must be released. Okay, all PTI members that have been illegally detained and imprisoned, they must be released, and the public's mandate must be respected. So, as Barrister Gore has been saying right from the start, that they are in no mood to form any allegiance or coalition with anybody. The only party with whom they had had a deal that yes, your votes are ours and our votes are yours, that was MWM, and that is based on there are a certain number of seats. That's it. So MQM and PPP and PMLN and JUI, once again PDM Part 2, and we know what that means. So let's see what happens. This is me signing out. Khuda.